First and foremost, we give all praise to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, give double honors to our apostles and elders of great milestone. Also, want to say shalom to all the argument out there, preaching the truth and truth with sincerity. Is the brother Tazo Kabar coming through the spirit part of Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Lord, will this video could be edifying through the spirit, and through the spirit, I'm gonna title this video, David prophesied about Yahawashi. David knew about the coming of Yahawashi, through the spirit, and spirit had it where I'm back in Acts, once again, reading once again and pinpointing precepts that, throughout the chapters that, catch my attention, that I should remember, and I'm here at verse 25 of Acts chapter 2. If give a little background, Peter addressing the crowd, after the crocodiles came among them, and the disciples were speaking all their languages, and Peter brought out the specific point, that about David, proclaiming David, and that David knew, of the Lord, and David had, major trust and belief within the Lord, but I'm gonna start at verse 25. It's like I'm trying to turn on notifications, and it says, I'm gonna start at verse 25. It says, for David speaking concerning him, I foresaw the Lord always before my face, for he is my might. For he is on my right hand, that I shall not be moved. As you go through these couple of verses, is David knowing that the Lord was always with him. It says, therefore did my heart rejoice, and my tongue was glad. Moreover, also my flesh shall rest in hope, because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, which hell, we all know through the spirit, is a condition. Neither will thou suffer thy Holy One to see corruption. And that's David, proclaiming his confidence within the Lord, man. David trusting in the Lord, and it goes to say, verse 28, thou hast made known to me the ways of life, thou shalt make me full of joy with thy countenance. In verse 28 in the NLT gives you plain, you show me the way of life, and you will fill me, you will fill me with the joy of your presence. And then here comes Peter once again. It says, men and brethren, let me freely speak unto the patriarch David, that he's both dead and buried, and dead and buried, his say that word to the best, sepulture is with us unto the day. But I'm gonna read that in the NLT. It says, dear brothers, think about this. You can be sure that the patriarch David was referred to himself, for he was dead and was buried, and his tomb is still here among us. Then Peter goes to speaking about how David, which David, we understand through the spirit, David was a prophet, and he was basically talking about Yahawashi. And it says, therefore being a prophet, and knowing that the Most High had sworn with him, sworn with an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Hamashiach to sit on his throne. So David knew that through his seed line, through his lineage, that Yahawashi would come out his lineage. Actual Yahawashi, but we know Solomon, was Yahawashi, but actual Yahawashi was coming. In verse 30 in the MLT said, but he was a prophet, and he knew the Most High promised with an oath that one of David's own descendants would sit on his throne. And I'm proved that in that Matthew chapter 1 in the second, it says, he's seen this before, spake of the resurrection of Hamashiach, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. In the LNT, once again, I'm jumping forward from the KJV and the LNT, because the LNT gives you plain too. They was looking into the future and speaking of Messiah's resurrection. He was saying that the Most High would not leave him among the dead or allow his body to rot in the grave. Peter goes to say this, Yahawashi had, Yahawashi the Most High raised up, wherefore we are our witnesses. And going back to prove the point that David knew that Yahawashi will come out his loins, because we understand through the spirit, once you read Matthew chapter 1, it gives you back the lineage, of Yahawashi. It says in Matthew chapter 1, It says the book of the generation of Yahawashi HaMashiach, the son of David. It says the son of David because we understand through the spirit, that that Yahawashi came out the lineage of David. It says the book of generations, and through the spirit we understand that let me believe 14 generations. Get that up. So hold up 1 second. That's good. So let me get back to Acts in a second. I believe it was 14 generations, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm gonna get back to the point. This is Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. It says, like I said, the book of generation of Yahawashi HaMashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. It goes now, as you read, it goes on to, who came out of who. It says Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judas and his brethren, and Judas begot Phares and Zara of Tamar, and Phares begot Ezram, and Ezram begot Aram, and Aram begot Aminadab, and Aminadab begot Nasan, and Nasan begot Salmon, and Salmon begot Booz of Rechab, and Booz begot Obed of Ruth, and Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David, the king, and David begot Solomon. And we understand through the spirit, Solomon was Yahawashi, through the spirit, the resurrection, through the spirit, we understand Solomon was Yahawashi. But actual Yahawashi, which was actually on the scene, came out the loins of David. It goes to show, as we continue reading, begot Solomon of her that been the wife of Uriah, and Solomon begot Roboam, and Roboam begot Abiah begot Asa, and Asa begot Josaphat, and Josaphat begot Joram, and Joram begot Ozias, and Ozias begot Joatham, and Joatham begot Achaz, and Achaz begot Ezekias, and Ezekias begot Manasseh, and Manasseh begot Amon, and Amon begot Josias, and Josias begot Jeconias and his brethren, about the time they carried away to Babylon. And after they were brought to Babylon, Jeconias begot Salathiel, and Salathiel begot Zorobabel, and Zorobabel begot Abiud, and Abiud begot Elkim and Eli. Elkim begot Azar, and Azar begot Sadak, and Sadak begot Akim, and Akim begot Elud, and Elud begot Eleazar, and Eleazar begot Mathan, and Mathan begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Yahawashi, who is called Hamashiach. That's basically going through the lineage, or what they'll say modern day terms, their family tree of Yahawashi. As you can see, not only that proves that the seed goes through the men, and which that also proves that Yahawashi had a father too. That's how Yahawashi be able to brought upon the scene. He came out the lineage of David, but his actual father, Yahushua's actual father was Joseph. And we got Joseph, the husband of Mary, whom was born Yahawashi, who's called Hamashiach. It says, there you go, verse 17, spirit. So all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David unto the carrying away to Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Hamashiach are 14 generations. It says, now the birth of Yahawashi was on this wise, as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph before they came together, she was found with a child of Crocodiles. So going back to show you that, Yahawashi came out through the loins of David, and David did prophesy that. David already knew through the spirit that Yahawashi will come out of his loins, and he did, Yahawashi, did come out of his loins, a couple generations later, and Yahawashi is on the scene, through the seed, or through the lineage, or throughout Joseph. Joseph going all the way back to the lineage connected to David. Showing you that, Yahawashi, had earthly parents. But just to prove the point, I'm not gonna butcher it. I'm not gonna just keep on talking. But just to bring out a point, David prophesied about Yahawashi, and David knew Yahawashi through the Spirit. David knew that Yahawashi was gonna come out of his loins. It's because of the Most High. He says, therefore, go back to Acts chapter 2, verse 8. The reason why he knew is because, Acts chapter 2, it tells you, Peter tells us, Acts chapter 2, verse 8. Is it 2, verse 8? 28, Salakia. Acts chapter 2, verse 28. No, not 28, not 28. Oh, man, Salakia. Verse 30, Salakia. Acts chapter 2, verse 38. Peter says, therefore, being a prophet and knowing that the Most High has sworn with an oath to him that the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, according to the flesh, is talking about his actual body, through the coming up, the act of sex, his seed, the sperm, that's talking about the flesh, for his loins, according to the flesh, he will raise up Hamashiach to sit on his throne. Yahushua is going to sit on David's throne. Through the Spirit, we know that. David prophesied that. That's why it says David was a prophet. He said before time that Yahushua is going to come throughout his loins. How did he know that? Because the Most High had promised. And matter of fact, it says in the LT, in plain terms, it says, but he was a prophet, and he knew that the Most High had promised with an oath that one of David's own descendants would sit on his throne. And who's that talking about? That's talking about Yahushua, man. Yahushua is going to sit on David's throne. But that's all I had to say through the Spirit. Lord wanted the video edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Kakadash. I want to give double honors to apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the Akim out there preaching the truth into the city. With that being said, I want to say shalom and abadah.